Oh Jezu! Motherfucker, where is it? Where the is it? I swear to God! You laughing, girl? You trying to laugh? Oh.
Zap 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 blah 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 blah
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening.
Remy, come. Remy, sit. Speak.
Fuck!
Good boy. Kamil. Kamil. Ja, Kamil.
又开始了，又开始了，打着打着就开始你拍一我拍一了，又照上镜子。
We're talking Teletubbies, Tinky Winky, Dipsy, and motherfucking Poe.
Dear my beloved audiences, today I want to tell you a story which was called The Dog and His Master's Steps. Every morning, the small town of Maplewood awoke to the gentle sound of wheels rolling along the cobblestone street. The sound came from Eli Turner, a young man in his 20s who had lost the use of his legs in a car accident 3 years earlier. He moved through life in his wheelchair with quiet dignity, though his eyes often carried the shadow of a dream he could no longer reach, the dream of walking again. But Eli was never alone. Beside him trotted Milo, a golden Labrador with bright amber eyes and a heart full of loyalty. Milo had been trained as a service dog, but to Eli, he was much more than that. He was a companion, a reason to get up each morning, a reminder that life, no matter how hard, was still worth living. Milo learned everything: how to open doors, fetch Eli's phone, pull his wheelchair up ramps, and even sense when Eli was sad. But what made him truly special was his intuition. He seemed to understand Eli's silence, his frustration, and the quiet ache that filled his long nights. Before the accident, Eli had been an athlete. He loved hiking, running, and feeling the earth beneath his feet. After losing his mobility, he withdrew from friends and family, shutting the world out. His parents tried to help, but it was Milo who truly reached him. One cold winter morning, Eli sat by the window, watching snowflakes drift down like tiny ghosts. Milo rested his head on Eli's lap, looking up with gentle eyes. "You miss it too, huh?" Eli murmured. "The hills, the trails." Milo's tail wagged softly, as if to say, "Let's go anyway." Eli smiled sadly. "Maybe tomorrow." But the next day, something changed. The local community was organizing an outdoor event, a walk of hope to raise awareness for people with disabilities. Eli hesitated, afraid to face the world again. Yet when he looked at Milo, who stood by the door, leash in mouth and tail wagging excitedly, something inside him stirred. "All right, boy," Eli said. "Let's do this." At the event, people smiled and cheered as participants rolled, walked, or limped along the park trail. Eli moved his wheelchair forward, Milo trotting beside him, the leash taut but steady. The air was cold, but the sunlight glimmered on the snow, and for the first time in years, Eli felt part of life again. Halfway through the trail, the path became uneven. Eli's front wheels stuck in a patch of mud. He struggled, his arms trembling with effort. Frustration welled up, but before he could speak, Milo pulled gently on the harness, digging his paws into the ground. Inch by inch, he helped Eli move forward until the wheels broke free. The crowd clapped, but Eli barely heard them. He looked down at his dog, heart swelling. "You never give up, do you?" he whispered. Milo barked once, proudly. By the time they reached the finish line, Eli's arms ached, but his spirit soared. Reporters came to take photos, calling it a moment of courage, but Eli only smiled and said, "It wasn't me. It was us." From that day on, Eli and Milo became local heroes. They visited schools to talk about resilience, joined charity walks, and helped train other service dogs. Eli even began writing a book about his journey, dedicating every chapter to the lessons Milo had taught him about patience, perseverance, and unconditional love. Years passed, and Milo grew older. His steps slowed, his muzzle turned gray, but his devotion never faded. On quiet evenings, Eli would sit beside him on the porch, stroking his fur. "You gave me my legs back," Eli would say softly. "Not the ones that walk, but the ones that keep me moving forward." One spring morning, Milo didn't wake up. He lay peacefully in his bed, the sunlight warming his golden fur. Eli wept for hours, his heart breaking in a way words could never describe. But even through the pain, he felt gratitude. Milo had given him back his life. Eli later placed a small wooden marker under the oak tree where they used to rest after their walks. It read, "Milo, my feet when I couldn't walk, my courage when I couldn't stand." Years later, Eli, now a motivational speaker, often told audiences about his dog. Disability, he said, isn't just about what your body can't do. It's about what your heart still can. Milo taught me that. And whenever he spoke those words, people swore they could almost hear the faint sound of paws padding beside the wheels, keeping pace with every turn of the journey. The story of Eli and Milo beautifully mirrors the challenges and triumphs that many people with disabilities face in real life. It shows that strength isn't measured by physical ability, but by the courage to keep moving forward despite limitations. In a world that often values perfection and speed, this story reminds us to slow down and appreciate perseverance, empathy, and companionship. Milo's loyalty and intuition symbolize the healing power of unconditional love, something that both humans and animals can share. Eli's journey also teaches that asking for help or accepting support is not weakness, but wisdom. In modern life, where people often struggle silently under emotional or physical burdens, the bond between Eli and Milo encourages us to look beyond appearances, to treat others with patience and respect, and to find purpose and kindness. It also calls for greater awareness and inclusion for people with disabilities, creating spaces where everyone can live with dignity and independence. Above all, the story reminds us that love, whether from a person or a faithful dog, can restore hope, rebuild confidence, and help us rediscover our strength even when life takes away what we once thought defined us. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It'll really help our channel grow. But if you don't like it, then skip it, and don't forget to check out our other videos. We love you and goodbye.